Good morning, all of you out there. I'm Cito Beltran, and you're watching Agenda. Today is work from home Tuesday for many of us. And once again, we will try our best to give you the information you need to make your decisions as the week approaches. May I just remind everyone that this is the third week. We are entering the third week of the quarantine. And for all intents and purposes, this next 2 weeks will determine what the results will be. Dito po natin malalaman kung itong Luzon-wide quarantine ay nagtagumpay o magtatagumpay. And this will all be dependent on our collective cooperation. The longer we stay home, the more we comply with the quarantine, the higher the chances of this strategy working as it has worked in other countries. So, pinapanawagan po namin na kung maaari lang, manatili na tayo sa bahay natin. Many barangays and cities are now implementing total lockdown. So we are going to expect tougher sanctions, tougher measures for everyone to stay home. Now, our next guest, our first guest for today, is someone who has always been in the middle of the battle against COVID-19. We have with us Director General Eric Domingo of the Food and Drug Administration. He was also for a time the guy who was giving us all the information. Medyo nakapahinga na siya. Director Domingo, magandang umaga sa iyo.
Hi, good morning, Cito.
It's good to see you smiling, given everything you've gone through, but it seems that in spite of not being the spokesperson at the moment, you are still in the middle of the fight, especially at FDA. I'll give you the opening shot for today's program. Any important announcements or warnings? Because I understand you have issued a lot of statements, especially on companies trying to push for testing kits, medicines, na medyo alanganin.
Yeah, no, I mean the FDA is really here to safeguard safety of the people, especially when it comes to medicines and all of these medical equipment and devices. Now, right now, the FDA has actually approved already 17 test kits for yung mga PCR-based tests. This is still the gold standard. We also are waiting new technology like the one from GeneXpert and Abbott, which are very quick tests to detect virus. But yesterday, we also approved 5 antibody test kits. Ito yung quick test kit na gagamit ng dugo and then the doctor or the clinic can do it for you. But these do not directly detect virus. They detect antibodies. So we just have to be very careful in using this. There might be situations that it can be useful. It's not for mass screening, as the OH says, no. But if we do use them carefully, they might be useful also for in the clinical settings.
Okay, now I want to give you the chance to answer all of your detractors, because there are people who are making it appear that you are the obstacle, that you are red tape, that you are being too cautious, etc. What exactly are you trying to do here? And what exactly is your job here? Because maraming hindi pagkakaintindihan kung ano ba talaga yung role ng FDA dito at ano yung gusto nyong pangalagaan.
Yung FDA po kasi, ang talagang mandato natin is to make sure that all products that come into the market, whether it's food or drugs or devices, are number one safe. No? Dapat po hindi yan makakasama sa atin when we take it. Number two, we might have to make sure that they're efficacious or accurate. And hindi po dapat mapapalabas ang mga produkto na substandard at hindi po na magagamit. And it takes some time to review these products. There are like hundreds and thousands of products that are registering with FDA every day. But since the COVID crisis started, talagang we're really focused on products or medicines that would be useful for the management of COVID. Pero yun nga po, hindi naman tayo pwedeng magpalabas ng produkto na hindi tayo sigurado. Especially in this time that everybody's panicking, everybody would like to take anything. Pag may nabalita po na gamot, biglang lalabas na lamang, mauubos sa putika, or pag may nabalita po ng mga testing, lahat naman sila ay gagawin. We have to just remind everybody how these tests are used, when they will be useful, and of course, make sure na yung mga mailalabas natin good quality. Totoo po yan, marami nagrereklamo, especially yung mga aplikante. Akala nila matagal ang processing. But I think as you can see, basta kompleto ang papers and documents and everything is verifiable, these products will be approved within 24 to 48 hours. Yung hindi na-approve, yun yung mga doubtful na products or things that we still have to confirm kung totoo yung kanilang mga claims or totoo yung kanilang documents na sinasubmit. So if a product is good, it's tested, and then we have all the documents to prove it, processing is very, very quick. But wag po kayo mag-alala, pati yung pagde-deny natin at pagdi-disapprove, mabilis din po.
Okay, yung po namang mga medicines, okay? Because I think right now, there is a lot of pressure for medicines to come out. And a lot of people are volunteering or posting on social media, or try this, try that. What is the position of the FDA and the DOH? I mean, if you guys find out or come or discover may magandang gamot, will you actually come out and say, okay, this is a game changer, gamit? Kasi meron lumalabas yung Prodex B ba yun or something. Meron pang lumabas na may doktor daw sa Subic na may ginagawang combination. And it's scary because when Donald Trump, the president of the United States, started talking about a combination of drugs, everybody thought it was the miracle. And then we've discovered that if I actually drank that, chances are I'd be dead in 3 days because of my comorbidities. Ngayon, ano ang position ng FDA? If you find out there's a good medicine, will the DOH automatically tell all the doctors in the country, okay, eto na yung panggamot natin?
Yeah. So we do have guidelines, no? For example, itong mga bagong gamot, the DOH is working with the infectious disease experts, and they've come up with treatment guidelines on medicines that are used. There are some drugs, for example, nga po itong hydrochloroquine or chloroquine, azithromycin. These are drugs that are already registered and existing and being sold in the market in the Philippines. These were drugs that were initially, of course, designed to treat other illnesses. No? Yung azithromycin, antibacterial yan, para sa mga pneumonia, UTI. Yun namang chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine para sa malaria yan. No? And for some forms of lupus and arthritis. However, some trials have shown that they can be used in a select subset of patients. No? Hindi pwedeng may sakit sa puso, hindi pwedeng may sakit sa mata. So meron tayong guidelines na masusunod yan. In these cases that these products are already registered, ito yung tinatawag nating off-label use. So pinayagan niya ng Department of Health yung off-label use basta yung pasyente magbibigay ng informed consent. Meaning, the drug was developed for another disease and it's now being used to treat another disease. So, registered product siya pero off-label ang use niya. Pag ganyan, kailangan maingat tayo. Pero iba pa yung talagang unregistered. Katulad po ng Prodex B.
Yeah. Ano po masasabi niyo? What do you have to say about this Prodex B? Because apparently there's a buzz about it, and we in media are worried. We want to be sure that people understand what this medicine is and what it is supposed to be for.
Yeah, I came up with an advisory yesterday on that. Prodex B, number one, illegal po siyang ibenta sa atin. It's an unregistered drug. And they cannot claim any antiviral activity. Kung titingnan po nyo, nakalagay, ang kanyang contents niya is procaine, which is an anesthetic na linalagay sa injection para hindi masakit ang injection, and dexamethasone. Dexamethasone is a steroid. It can actually weaken your immune system and can have a lot of side effects. So ito po, illegal ito, and then of course we've sent out our agents to look for the manufacturer to remind them that they cannot market this. Kaya ito po yung pinapakiusap naman natin sa publiko, no? I mean, half of the battle is enforcement by FDA, But half of the battle is the consumer. Kailangan po mapanuri naman tayo. Hindi naman po lahat ng makita natin sa Facebook, makita natin sa social media na nagke-claim na gagaling na magagamot lahat ng sakit, ibibilhin po natin at kakainin natin or ipa-injection natin sa katawan. We have to check, we have to find out if these are registered products, if these are proven to be safe and effective before we buy them and before we use them. And we really need the help of the public on this.
Okay, well, you are assured of media's help on this, Director Domingo. Now, the other concern na umaabot sa akin, is there a possibility for the FDA to drop the unnecessary documentation? Kasi yan ang atake ngayon sa DOH. That and it's not your fault. Apparently, it is not the fault of the DOH or the FDA. So much paperwork because it seems to have been a this. Even the United States, medyo nag-set up sila ng system na sobrang bureaucracy, sobrang documentary requirements. Given the time frame, the pressure, the threat, the health disaster we have here, have you taken steps para bawasan yung paperwork, bawasan yung mga requirements? Kasi from what I understand, you have even made shortcuts that if a medicine or a testing kit is approved in Singapore or China, may conditional approval na kayo because Singapore and China have tougher, stricter, more scientific facilities than we have.
Yes, unang-una po kasi especially kung bago yung produkto, we really have to be very, very careful. But like you said, these are very unusual times. It's not like we have the luxury of time. So for example, if the products are very low risk, like po yung mga protective personal equipment or highly needed like ventilators, FDA has actually removed all regulation on this, lalo na po kung donation. Kung donate na po siyang ipasok sa Pilipinas at nang walang kahit anong FDA clearance. Iba naman po yung mga nagninegosyo, no? Kasi meron din naman gustong manamantala. They want to do commercial, they want to sell these things commercially without any regulation at all. Of course, if you're going to sell and make a business out of it, you need a license to operate and you need to register the product with us. At least notify us that you're bringing this product in, give us the specifications. So in case magka-problema, matitrace natin at malalaman natin kung saan yung problem. And you're right. In fact, for example, for test kits, I decreased the requirements to bare minimum. Meaning, number one, the person who wants to distribute it or the company should have a license to operate. So at least we know where the address of the office is, and if there's a problem, we know where to look for them. And second, as long as it has a registration, the product, number one, is registered and is allowed to be sold and used in a country with a mature regulatory authority like Singapore, Japan, US, sa Europe. And in this case, we do allow sa Korea or sa China because these are the two countries that have the widest experience when it comes to COVID. They've tested these products more than anybody. So kapag nakita naman natin na registered doon, pumasa doon, at yung data papakita nila sa atin and it is allowed for use in that country, then pinapayagan natin. Pero hindi ko po pinapayagan yung, mayroon po kasi produkto, halimbawa registered siya sa ibang bansa for export and for manufacture, pero hindi nila pinapayagan gamitin sa sarili nilang bansa. Pag ganyan, I'm very worried. I only allow products in that are allowed to be used in the own country where it is manufactured.
Okay. Well, we'll have to end it there, Director. And maraming salamat po, Director Eric Domingo, for your time. Please stay healthy and stay strong, and we will heal as one. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat din po.
Okay, that was Director Eric Domingo of the Food and Drug Administration. Now we switch over to a local government official who is also in the thick of things. He is one of the biggest. Forgive that switch. We are going to Rex Gatchalian, Mayor Rex Gatchalian. Mayor Rex, good morning.
Cito, good morning, and good morning to everybody who's watching your program.
Okay, how are things in Valenzuela? First of all, I have to ask about you and your family. How are you doing? Are you in on home quarantine also,
No, no,
or
no,
uh,
Sito. Actually, I'm about to leave after this interview. I'm about to leave and go to our disaster preparedness center. I can't manage over remote, eh. And
okay?
I've not been exposed ever since the first one, yung right before the lockdown. Tapos na yung
Mhm.
home quarantine ko doon. So, we're in the thick of things. I have to manage from the front, eh.
Okay. Any particular developments? Any good news? Let's start with good news. May good news ba dyan sa Valenzuela?
Well, yung COVID patient number 1 namin, we have yesterday we have 9, no? We have 9.
Okay.
COVID patient number 1 has already tested negative for the first time. Remember,
Okay.
you need 2 confirmatory tests to fully declare the person as COVID-free. So ngayon meron na siyang 1 and we're just waiting for the second one. Alam ko 1 out of 9 pa lang yon, but still, that's good news in my book.
And the fact that you are actually able to test your PUIs, that's already
She's not a PUI. She's actually a positive. Sito,
positive.
she was our first COVID here in Valenzuela. Pero,
Okay.
and just to clarify, like most LGUs, we've been trying to wrangle with getting our hands on our test kits. We ordered from one of the distributors dun sa na-authorized na PCR-based test kits, pero
Yeah.
it has yet to arrive. And what we're doing right now is we're looking for a processing center. We're working with PGH and the medical city to be able to, kasi I understand their labs are near accreditation already. So we're going to work with them. So the testing of this person was done by our ITM.
Okay, so RITM, nag-negative na yung first COVID positive patient nyo. That's good news. Now, what other things are you doing in Valenzuela? Because I just picked up from other LGUs, medyo maghihigpitan na starting today because we are into week 3 and the next 2 weeks will determine if this campaign is going to work or not. Kamusta dyan sa Valenzuela? Talaga bang total lockdown na rin kayo?
Well, kami, Sito, we're following the national orders from day 1. Talagang mahigpit kung mahigpit na. Pero talagang merong mga pasaway pa rin. And we've been catching them. Medyo umuulan na talaga ng tickets, no? Kasi ang means to operationalize the curfew hours sa amin is to issue 5,000 fine. Ang dami nang na-fine, so pakonti na ng pakonti yung mga pasaway. Pero meron pa rin, but we're going to really tighten it pa. Just to go back, I know that we're in that crucial time, so we're also being aggressive about contact tracing. We recently automated our contact tracing system wherein kasi dumadami na yung PUI namin, dumadami yung PUM at dumadami rin yung positive, naka-9 na kami. So we need to make sure na walang community transmission or else we'll start using our central isolation units that we set up already. We have 2 of those. So we've automated our contact tracing and sa awa ng Diyos, the only community transmission that's happening is within that household nung nag-positive. Wala pa talaga yung among between 2 households. Wala pang ganon. But we're very tight with the contact tracing now.
Okay, what are you planning to do with the pasaways, yung people who are not following the quarantine, the curfew, because the PNP has already apparently decided they will arrest. Wala nang mga ticket, wala nang mga fine, kulong na.
Sito, sabay namin ginagawa yan ng PNP here. Medyo maayos yung coordination namin. Nung day 1, netong first 2 weeks, may ticket. And marami naman nadala kasi 5,000 ka agad yun, di ba? Pero mayroon din talaga yung paulit-ulit na offender, yung kinukulong na yun. Ang downside kasi, Sito, is if we start arresting everybody, ang worry ko baka wala na kami mapaglagyan. Kasi remember the detention cells are also full and may social distancing rin dapat na nangyayari doon, so we don't want to pack them in. Pero rest assured, we're really going to tighten and make sure na yung talagang nobody, yung walang pakialam dapat sa kalsada ngayon, sisiguraduhin natin na dapat nasa loob sila ng mga bahay nila.
Okay, any major announcements, any appeals that you want? Baka may panawagan kayo sa mga tiga Valenzuela. Please go ahead, Mayor.
Sito, sa mga taga Valenzuela, tapos na ho tayo doon sa una nating wave ng food distribution. That's 110 food packs, no, na niredeem nyo using your food vouchers. Tuloy-tuloy pa yung redemption. Pero yung distribution, tapos na tayo, inaantay na lang natin maklaim yan. Hanggang April 5 pa yan. Huwag kayong mag-alala, hindi magsasara yung mga redemption centers natin, pwede nyo pa rin i-pick up. Pero habang ginagawa yon, we're already preparing wave number 2, which is slightly bigger, 140,000. So antabayanan nyo ho yan, masisigurado natin na bagamat nasa enhanced community quarantine tayo, may makakain pa rin ang pamilyang Valenzuelano.
Okay, you said April 5 and the second surge. Are you covered up to April 14? Kasi
Yes.
ang quarantine is up to the 14.
Yes, Sito, that's why wave 2 is already being repacked as we speak. So right after the redemption ng wave 1, we're going to start distributing naman the food vouchers for wave 2, simultaneously the pickup. Sabay-sabay na lahat yan mangyayari.
Are you able to cover all of the poorest of the poor or yung mga tao na dapat talagang mabigyan nitong pagkain? Kasi in other LGUs, unfortunately, there have been complaints and the delivery has been slow. Sa Valenzuela ba, nakukover nyo lahat?
Well, Sito, I'd like to think so. Kasi ang global namin right now is 110,000. That's 80% of our registered households in our data, socioeconomic data. So meaning, doon sa last socioeconomic data namin, that comprises the near poor, yung mga minimum wage earner namin, poor and poorest of the poor. So sapat yung numero, pero syempre Sito, I would say na hindi perpekto kasi merong mga naka-isolate na mag-isa lang sa ibang lugar, pero bulto niyan, I would say we are covering already. Wala namang perfect system at this time because we're doing everything in haste, but we're trying to make sure that yung hindi nako-cover, very minimal lang yun, and we're going to make it up with the wave number 2.
Okay, last question, Mayor, or last issue. There is a concern that this week 3, there will be a surge of PUIs, of positives, etc. Meron na ba kayong designated isolation area na yung gym or something? Or,
Yep, dalawa yung amin, Sito. One is our brand new drug rehab center. Hindi na namin nagamit, dapat April 1 yun. It's called Balay Banyuhay. It was featured actually ng station nyo rin yesterday. It's 70 beds na na-check na ng Regional Epidemiology Unit ng DOH, so pasado na siya. And then the second one is our Astrodome, which is another 80 beds. So that's around 150 beds all in all na kung may surge, ready silang ilagay natin doon.
Okay, may pahabol na question, Mayor Rex. Yung mga senior citizens ba daw kailangan pang pumunta sa Redemption Center?
No. Ang ginagawa namin ngayon, pwede nyo nang ipakiusap kahit kanino. The lesser people, the better. So merong mga cases, minsan kukunin niya para sa magkakapitbahay. Tinatanggap na namin yon kasi gusto nga namin konti lang ang nagre-redeem.
Okay, thank you very much, Mayor Rex Gatchalian. Thank you for your time, and we pray that you are going to stay healthy, stay fit, and mga tiga Valenzuela ay hindi na dadami ang mga COVID positive patients.
Maraming salamat po, Sito. Have a good morning. Thank you. Stay safe.
Okay, and that's Mayor Rex Gatchalian of Valenzuela City. Let's now switch over to the main man. So far, I don't know how he is, but I really want to find out how he is. Secretary Carlo Nograles, who's there we go. Carlo, good morning. Nice to see you, cheerful, smiling, and seemingly in the pink of health.
Well, I'm isolated and I'm on a work from home mode. I'm on self-quarantine, Sito. But still working very hard. We were doing our IATF meeting since yesterday up to late last night. So tuloy-tuloy yung mga trabaho namin dito, even if we're working from home.
I think it would be useful for the public to know what life is, what professional life is for people on the team, on the interagency task force. Paano ba yung pangkaraniwang araw ninyo? How many working hours do you put in? What's involved? What do you guys do?
Well, like for instance, for myself, we try to inform the public as much as possible on what we do what the guidelines are, what the rules are, and what decisions are being made by the IATF. No, so I try to do that in the morning, and then we start our IATF meetings either 10:30 a.m. or 2 p.m. depende sa anong pinag-usapan naming oras magsisimula. Then we meet virtually, no? Kasi lahat kami, marami sa amin naka self-quarantine na, work from home. So nag-virtual meeting na lang po kami via video call, and then umaabot yan ng hanggang gabi. So we end at about 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. just discussing everything that needs to be decided on. And then we also have, that's on the policy side, but on the implementation side, as you know, we already organized the National Task Force COVID, kung saan meron tayong chief implementer na si Secretary Galvez, although the National Task Force naman is headed by Secretary Lorenzana, vice-chaired by Secretary Anyo. Then we have three legs, the strategic communication leg, then more importantly, the resources leg, and the task group on response. So yung response, sila yung nagre-respond sa mga needs on the ground, including our medical needs. So that is headed by the Department of Health. Tapos yung task group on resource management, because bulk of the resources is through the social amelioration, nandyan ang nag-head niyan is DSWD Secretary Bautista. So and then we have the troops on the ground, or our foot soldiers, our people from the different line agencies, the departments, no? So all of the people that need to be working on the ground are there, down to the regional level. So basically that's, and then wala kaming rest hanggang Sunday. There's no rest for us, because even on Sundays we work, Saturday and Sundays.
So no holidays, no day offs for you guys. And how are you finding working from home? And you know, you're not just working from home. You're managing a disaster. How are you finding this experience? And how has this impacted your efficiency? Because I know you are a workaholic of sorts, and you must be so frustrated at the lag between, you know, taking your calls, the video, and then seeing it in effect. Kasi wala ka naman on the ground, hindi ka rin makalabas.
Yeah, well, the frustration basically for me, especially for me, is I can't go to the ground, diba? So sometimes you would wanna see things happening with your own eyes, no? If it's better that you can see it, that you can feel it. But given that we're on self-quarantine, we have to work on virtual mode, kumbaga. Pero ano yun, actually, truth be told, mas maraming trabaho kung sa work from home. Because, you know, you get to coordinate a lot of things. And we're coordinating on all fronts, kumbaga. So habang nagmi-meeting kami ng IATF, there are certain fires that we have to put out. So we use I have two cell phones, so I'm busy with one cell phone, and then I have this laptop doing the meeting, and then on the other cell phone, meron naman ibang concern that we have to address. So it's a lot of that happening. Plus we have to monitor what's happening on the ground. Plus we get a lot of recommendations, suggestions from various people from all fronts, and questions and concerns. So we have to address all of those as well. So parang it's really multitasking, Sito. And literally we have three devices in front of us. I have three devices in front of me. And that goes with all the other secretaries. Habang nagmi-meeting, they're texting or calling, or it's a lot of multitasking happening.
Okay,
right,
I'm sure you don't have staff in your own house because you're self-quarantine. Eh, sino executive assistant mo? Si Mrs. Nograles.
Yeah, siya ang tig-print, pati my eldest son. So I just send them, because I'm not supposed to touch them, right? So I just send it to them via Viber or email, and then they have to print, and then they send it to me. So I'm in an isolation room, actually.
Okay, I just thought it would be good to give us a light moment there. Now, shifting to the business at hand, what are the current fires that you've had to put out in the task force? Kasi I have to compliment you, Senator Bongo, Secretary Mon Lopez, Secretary Andanar, because personally, I know that the task force listened and reacted dun sa appeals ng napakaraming senior citizens who could not go to the supermarkets dahil binan ng mga ilang barangay, and the task force came out with a very responsive memorandum. What other fires are you putting out?
Well, every day is a new challenge, no? Like right now, ang pinaka-importante natin talagang kinakailangan are the PPEs. So the Department of Health procured 1 million PPEs already, and then we're tasking the AFP through its air assets to bring them home kasi we have to get them pa from abroad, no? So that's on its way. But obviously, the more PPEs we have, the better. So kami po ay nananawagan din sa mga donors, private companies, those who want to help. Ang pinaka-importante po nating kailangan ngayon are the PPEs, no? Then number two, syempre we get saddened by certain stories about our frontliners, mga health workers getting discriminated against.
Yes.
Meron tayong mga health workers na hindi napapasok sa kanilang sariling condominium kasi ayaw ng kanilang mga kapitbahay or yung mga kasama dun sa building. So these are certain things na we talked about during the IATF, no? And then other concerns, about the testing. We'll have to explain to a lot of people, like especially right now, lumabas na yung sa FDA on the rapid test kits. But I have to issue a caveat, no, dun sa mga magpapatest, no. Number one, and this is the caveat also ng FDA. Number one, it has to be done by the doctor. It cannot be done by any person, and results have to be interpreted by the doctor. Hindi pwede ikaw mismo ang mag-interpret yan. Correct? And then number two, ang second caveat natin is that even if you take that rapid test kit, no, even if you take that test, kailangan mo magpa-confirmatory test, whether positive ka or negative ka. Kasi kahit kung positive ka, kailangan ma-confirm yan through the lab, no, yung RPT test, yung PCR test, kailangan po yun. But even if you're negative, doesn't mean you're really negative, no? So ang usapan na lang natin, ganito na lang usapan natin. If you take that test, no, we assume that nagdududa ka na carrier ka. So
Okay.
if you take that test, isolate yourself at huwag kang lumabas ng bahay. Kasi nagdududa ka na eh. The mere fact na nagdududa ka na carrier ka, let's assume na carrier ka. Okay? So gano'n na lang para safe ang lahat. Kasi nagdududa ka na eh. Kaya yun po yung pakiusap ko sa lahat. Then of course, the third challenge that we're facing right now is the distribution ng social amelioration package. So we have to be very fast dito sa pagbibigay natin ng tulong sa ating mga kababayan na mahihirap, lalo na yung mga marginalized and most affected families. And obviously the SWD is under a lot of pressure to start and well, they've already begun, but to speed up the distribution process nung food assistance and to collect the listahan from the different mayors and LGUs dun sa mga kailangan bigyan based on the guidelines. So mauna yung food assistance sa ating mga kababayan, and then yung financial assistance to follow. So once we have completed already the list, combined ng mula sa database ng national government, pati yung listahan na isasubmit ng mga LGUs, then we will be ready also to already financial assistance to the most affected families.
Okay, Secretary, are you spotting, like I am spotting, pockets and individuals who are seriously challenging what the government is doing, or yung mga harsh critics. In fact, I'll put it out there. There's some groups that are attacking the DOH, particularly Secretary Duque, and they seem to be getting airtime at a time when we shouldn't be entertaining negative things or allegations or suspicion. What will the task force do about this? Yung, I hate to say the word, but they're effectively destabilizers.
Well, of course, it's noise in the background for us, no? Noise that we can do without. Siguro sa panahon na ito, obviously we're democracy naman, so freedom of speech, okay lang yan, walang problema. So how we try to process this is those who provide us constructive criticisms or even constructive and helpful tips and recommendations, we process. Yung mga nega at yung mga hindi naman nakakatulong at yung bumabatikos lang just for the sake of it at wala namang binibigay na any constructive recommendations, we just put that aside. Kasi we at this point we cannot be weighed down or bothered by things like that. In combating a virus as vicious and as intense as COVID-19, we have to keep moving and we have to move very fast. Kasi kung mabagal ka at mahina ka at hindi mabilis ang action mo, the virus will overtake you and overwhelm you. So kailangan tuloy-tuloy yung trabaho, tuloy-tuloy ang galaw natin dito kasi kung hindi, ma-overtakean tayo ng virus na ito and we will be overwhelmed. So we just have to keep moving. Kaya lahat ng mga constructive and helpful hints, tips, and suggestions, lahat naman yan pinag-uusapan namin sa IATF. But yung mga hindi helpful, hindi na namin pinapansin because that will just weigh us down. And at this moment, government and the people, we really just have to stick together and help each other.
Speaking of sticking together, Secretary, there are many Filipinos who want to help. Siyempre nga lang, meron tayong quarantine. But is there any way or means for citizens to sign up? Kasi dun sa mga retired health workers, nagsa-sign up na sila sa DOH. Pero marami pa rin. And you were talking about distributing food, finances. Marami tayong mga kaibigan sa private sector na nakatunga nga ngayon, naghahanap ng magagawa. Volunteers, where can they go or what can they do?
Well, as far as volunteers are concerned, syempre, yung warm bodies, we try to limit as much as possible kasi we don't want people going out of their homes, di ba? But any help is obviously welcome. Yung task group on resource mobilization and logistics, sila po yung in charge sa pag-collect ng lahat ng mga resources na kinakailangan. And that's based sa Office of the Civil Defense. So sila po yung magko-collect at mag-funnel out, mag-distribute ng lahat ng mga donations. So they can accept your money or check or cash donations or financial donations. And every centavo that they collect, they will remit and deposit immediately to the National Treasury. Then from the National Treasury, yung mga agencies or departments that need the money will just ask from the National Treasury through DBM. So that's as far as cash, check, and financial donations are concerned. But for donations in kind, you can give it straight to the Office of Civil Defense and sila na bahala mag-farm out sa mga kung saan kinakailangan yung mga yan, whether it's PPEs or medicines or whatever. But you may also provide your donations in kind directly to your favorite hospital or to the department or agency concerned. No, so it doesn't have to pass through OCD. You can, if it's donations in kind, you can give it immediately to the department or to the agency or even to the hospital that you want to help. And
Okay.
siguro, case in point, like in Davao City, no, and I know this because I'm from Davao and I have a lot of my family and friends are in Davao. What they've been doing was they've been cooking meals, no, for the frontliners, for the health workers, and been sending it directly to SPMC. So things like that, no, and to the other hospitals. So things like that, just to show and help, just to show the health workers that you care and to help them, obviously, kasi pinapakain na sila. And of course, if you have PPEs, you have face masks, and other medical needs and supplies, you can send it directly to the health workers, or you can send it directly to the hospitals, or you can send it to the Office of Civil Defense in Camp Aguinaldo,
Okay.
where doon namin nilalagay, pinocollect ang lahat ng mga gamit, at then we immediately spread it out to the field.
Okay, Secretary Nograles, I think this would be the last but most important question for the morning. There is mounting pressure, and siguro kinakati ng marami. They want to be reassured that the quarantine ends on April 14. Isa na ako doon dahil birthday ko yung April 14. Now,
Happy birthday.
is this going to end on April 14? What will determine the lifting of the quarantine, or what will cause the extension of the quarantine?
So the IATF actually created two technical working groups. No? One technical working group is chaired by NEDA. And this technical working group is supposed to give us a plan on what the new normal is. Meaning to say, once the enhanced community quarantine is lifted, presumably on April 14, what would the new normal be? No? And ang imagination namin ng new normal is that na set aside na po natin, or na isolate na po natin ang mga PUIs, PUMs, and COVID positives. And because we've been able to quarantine and isolate them from the population, we will be able to already determine what communities are negative sa COVID-19. Walang carrier at walang COVID-19, walang threat ng transmission. But unless we find a vaccine, there will always be that threat. Just like what happened to Hong Kong, just like what happened to Singapore. No? They thought they had it under control, then sumipa ulit. So we have to define a new normal. And that means identifying communities that are COVID-free and allow them to slowly transition back to work. Na necessarily, kailangan nandyan pa rin yung social distancing para hindi magkahawaan. So that's one technical working group. No? Ayoko pangunahan ano yung i-define nilang new normal, but that's what they're working on. The second technical working group is chaired by the Department of Health. And that technical working group will decide for us the parameters that they will set in order for them to advise the IATF if it's safe already to lift the enhanced community quarantine. So that is headed by DOH, and they will set very clearly the scientific parameters for us to say na, okay na, let's shift now to new normal, and sino yung mga communities that will adopt the new normal. So just for everybody's enlightenment.
So the way we behave, the way we comply, and the way we follow the guidelines on the quarantine will determine kung magkakaroon ng extension ng game o kung matatapos na itong championship na ito.
Absolutely. So the better and the more cooperative our citizens are, the more chances of winning. Ganun na lang po.
Maraming salamat, Cabsec Carlo Nograles. May you stay strong, stay healthy, and we will heal as one. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat. God bless and protect everybody. Thank you po, and good morning.
Good morning. Okay, and that was Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles. We will go for a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk to a patient who actually recovered, and this is our good news for the day. because everyone's talking about statistics of contamination, of deaths, pero nakakalimutan po na marami nang gumagaling. We'll be right back here on Agenda. What? Okay, we're back here on Agenda. I'm Cito Beltran, and we are working from home. It's WFH Tuesday. Now, right now we've been hearing a lot of stories of discrimination of health workers and a lot of the negative stats. But the question is, what about the survivors? So we're going to bring to you someone who has actually recovered from COVID-19. John Olinkino. Good morning, John.
Sir, good morning po. Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and
Okay.
clear.
Yeah.
You're looking good, John. Guwapo ka pala
Thank
sa
you.
TV. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
John, quick interview. I know we all have so much to do and you need your rest as well. When did you realize that you had that you were infected or may sakit ka?
Well, actually, the symptoms started to manifest on my fifth day, siguro. Because at
Mhm.
that time I was in Australia, so I was feeling well that time on my way. So when I arrived in Australia, I was feeling fine. After on my fourth day, that's when I started feeling symptoms. So body pain is body aches talaga. That's the first one, and then I
Mhm.
started dry cough. Yun. But I had no idea that was COVID-19 because Australia has low transmission eh. So that was early March, first week of March. So hindi pa talaga evident yung community transmission sa Manila and Australia din. So yun.
Okay, what made you decide to go to the hospital, the doctor? Anong ginawa nila?
Well, kasi on my seventh day sa Australia, I had I had a fever the night before. That wasn't the time that okay, this is something else because diarrhea kicks in. So I decided to cut short my trip, went back to Manila, and from the airport I went straight to the ER ng Makati Med. Eh. So,
Okay.
but at that point, upon interviewing with the nurse staff, they don't want to test me yet kasi Australia wala pang masyadong cases Pero I think the pneumonia when they saw my X-ray result, that was the time. Okay, I was having pneumonia. Na it was quite extensive, so that was the time that they tested me for COVID-19. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that there's a 4 to 5 day delay. If they tested you for COVID-19, you would have to wait 4 to 5 days before you get the results. What did they do in the meantime?
For the meantime, well, first, kasi upon checking at the ER, blood works and everything else, X-ray, that was the time that they isolated me na. Kasi they highly suspect it might be the COVID-19. So I was in an isolation room, waiting for my admission room, which is isolation room din sa taas. So I waited for 3 days. I think 2-3 days. That's when I get the result. It was positive for the COVID-19.
So are you one of those 29 patients that Makati Med actually announced were recovered?
Yes,
ikaw ba yung magnificent 29?
I think so, sir. Yeah, I think I was one of the first diagnosed. I'm PH 13.
Okay.
So
You're,
I was
you're
one of
patient number 13.
13. So I think I was one of the first admitted sa Makati Med for COVID-19.
Okay, so what are you doing now? Home quarantine ka pa rin ba? Are you on special meds or?
No, sir.
Actually,
sir, even before leaving the hospital, I was not taking any medication. Tapos ka na yung antibiotics. So basically, the treatment that I got was IV antibiotics, oral antibiotics, flu meds, so antiviral medicine. So it's all about managing the symptoms Kasi wala pa naman talagang treatment for the COVID-19 So ayun.
Hindi ka naman tinatakwil ng pamilya mo kasi maraming tao sobrang takot na takot, ayaw lumapit sa mga katulad mo.
No, sir. Actually, I got a lot of support both from my friends and colleagues in Australia and here in Manila Kasi I was very careful naman Actually, all the people that I dealt with, I mingled with, they were all okay, and some of them had a test. They were all negative naman. So because even when I was started coughing, I always make sure na I keep it to myself.
Yeah.
So
okay, well, we're happy for you, and I'm sure that from now on, number 13 will be your lucky number.
Yes, I indeed, sir. 13 is I could not forget that number.
Okay. Thank you very much, John. Stay strong, stay safe, and stay healthy.
Thank you, sir. God bless po.
Okay. Thank you, John. And that is just one of those testimonies, ladies and gentlemen, that tells us people do recover. At doon sa mga naprapraning, natatakot, na baka mahawa sila, social distancing. Huwag niyo pong itabo yung mga kapitbahay niyong pinabalik na ng hospital at pinauwi na ng hospital. Kayo po ang lumayo. Huwag niyong palayuin yung mga tao dahil kailangan din nila ng mga tahanan o matitirhan. Just make sure that they do self-quarantine. Okay, now we have Pao Valdepeñas. She's a nurse. She's one of those frontliners who... Hi there, Pao. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, sir. Good morning. Maraming salamat po at na-imbitahan niyo po ako dito sa programa niyo po.
Ay, marami kami ang nagbibigay ng pasalamat kasi for the longest time, we have always supported nurses and we have been pushing that the nurses get their due recognition in terms of pay, etc. But how is life for you nowadays? Mukhang nasa bahay ka, naka-self-quarantine ka ba? Yeah.
Thankful po. Hindi naman po. Naka-rest day po ako ngayon. So tomorrow duty po ulit ako.
Okay, and it's good to see that you're smiling, giggling. Pero Pao, ano ang realidad? What is the reality inside the hospitals now? Kasi gusto kong pumunta. I'm actually one of the volunteers at RMC. Pero banned ako dahil senior citizen daw with comorbidity. Ano ba ang situation ninyo sa hospital?
So far po, yung situation namin sa hospital, there are a lot of PUI patients. Marami po talaga dagsa po. So, first, as a frontliner po, provided naman po kami ng mga PPEs. There are a lot of private groups, foundations, organizations giving a lot of foods, PPEs, vitamins. And thankful kami doon kasi though meron naman pong supply, however, syempre talaga mararamdaman namin yung lacking din ng mga kagamitan po for us to protect ourselves. The hospital naman po are doing their best naman for us na maprotektahan kaming mga staff workers, especially yung mga doctors din po. So, nagpapasalamat po kami sa mga organizations na to na walang humpay na sumusuporta sa aming hospital po.
Okay, now, alam mo, pag pinapanood ko yung mga posts at saka yung mga news coverage abroad, marami doon sa mga nurse abroad, especially in the US, bumibigay na. They're having, they're having a hard time emotionally. For them, it's literally going to the battlefield every day. What about you and your associates? Kamusta ba yung moral ninyo? And paano nyo nagagawang palakasin ang loob nyo? Ayan, ikaw, nakangiti ka, ngumingisi ka pa dyan. In spite of all of this, dumidistansya ba kayo dun sa mga nadidisgrasya o hindi nyo pinag-uusapan?
So far po talaga, mahirap po talaga sa amin nowadays na syempre yung fear namin na mahahawaan kami ng sakit na to. And meron din po syempre yung fear na mahawaan din namin yung mga family members namin at syempre yung mga iba sa amin, mga parents namin may mga comorbids din po. And then yung iba may mga anak. Yung iba kasi, sir, hindi na po talaga minsan umuwi sa amin. So the hospital are providing accommodations for us. And syempre yung sa city of government of Quezon City, they're providing hotel lodges.
Okay.
Yung mga private yes. And then yung sa nagkakaroon kasi po kami ng ng strong threshold between the responsibility as a nurse and para malabanan tong COVID na to. As a part of our responsibility then and duties, nandoon na po yung public service eh. So, siguro individuality na lang po how they would battle this crisis. And at the same time, nakakabos sa amin syempre yung cooperation ng bawat isa. Nandoon din po yung teamwork between health workers and the support na binibigay ng family namin. Though nandoon yung fear, given naman po yun. Nandoon po talaga yung spiritual namin, understanding namin. Binubus po namin lahat ito in different perspective po.
Okay, panghuling tanong ko na lang, Pau, pag umuwi ka coming from the hospital, ano yung sanitary protocol mo? Kasi may alam akong nurse na pagdating sa garahe nila, talaga nakuhubad siya at ini-sprayan na niya yung sarili niya ng disinfectant. Sa inyo, ano ba ang protocol ninyo ngayon?
Ang protocol po namin ngayon, especially while on duty din, we are practicing social distancing. Kahit kami din po sa loob. And then, meron po kaming complete PPEs from head to toe. And sa loob kasi, pinapractice din namin yung strict na pagtatanggal namin ng mga used gloves, gowns before entering the nurse's lounge or even before handling foods. And then, right after the contacts ng mga pasyente, syempre, another set of PPEs. So, kahit paano po talaga napoprotektahan po namin yung mga sarili namin tsaka yung mga namin in between time. And then po, yung sa pag-uwi naman po, talaga pong naliligo po kami. Meron naman pong mga shower sa namin sa hospital. So, yun nga lang po, medyo dilemma lang din namin. Siyempre, mainit din po yung PPE. And then, kapag tinatanggal na namin siya, siyempre, hindi naman kami pwede magstay longer sa hospital. Tatanggalin namin, then we take a shower, and then, practicing hand disinfectant all the time, proper disposals of waste, And yun, social distancing.
Okay, do you have any message, panawagan? Of course, lahat kami, we are praying, literally praying. Me and my family, we pray every night for all the frontliners, nurses, doctors, janitors, maski na basurero, pinagdadasal namin gabi-gabi. Kayong mga nasa frontline, ano ba ang panawagan ninyo or any message that you'd like to send to our viewers?
Okay, ang panawagan ko po sana sa lahat, unang-una sa mga tao, sana po kung kayo ay nakakaramdam po ng pag-iba sa mga simptomas, inuubo kayo, nilalagnat, nawawalan kayo ng mga pang-amoy, panglasa, diarrhea, anything na nararamdaman nyo unusual, take a monitoring with that. Ay, yung pala, sir, gusto ko po idagdag. Health workers are being monitored po sa amin. So we have a daily sheet po. We reported it to the assigned charge nurse, and then we coordinated to the supervisor, and then to the medical doctors na assigned sa amin. So kung sino man po yung na-expose pala sa amin sa labas sa PUIs, minomonitor po talaga namin, sir. And yun, back to po sa sa panawagan. Sana po wag po kayong matakot kasi pag naunahan po tayo magkakaroon tayo ng failure doon. Magkakaroon tayo na yung napangunahan ka ng takot, madadown yung madadown yung strength mo, madadown yung self-esteem mo. Dapat po i-face natin to kasi wala po talagang binibigay yung Diyos na hindi natin malalagpasan. Tsaka let's pray for everyone, especially health workers, na frontliners, kasi hindi po talaga biro ang sakit na to. Everyone could be infected without us knowing it. Kaya kailangan po talaga na i-monitor. Tsaka wag po tayong mag-lie sa mga healthcare providers natin, especially to the doctors, kasi I know na natatakot din po kayo, pero paano po namin kayo magagamot, matutulungan sa nararamdaman po ninyo. And lastly, sana po sa mga private groups, organizations na willing pong mag-donate po sa amin, sa iba't ibang DOH hospitals, kami po ay advance na nagpapasalamat na po dahil malaking tulong po talaga ang PPE. Isa po sa pinaka-main factor po na hindi po dapat mawala sa namin, sa pag-combat ng disease na to.
Okay, thank you very much, Pao. At please stay strong, stay healthy, and we will be praying for all of you, literally praying for all of you. At sana po ay patuloy tayong magtagumpay sa ginagawa natin. God bless all of you, Pao.
God bless po. Stay safe po, sir. Maraming salamat.
Okay, that's our interview with someone from East Avenue Medical Center. And that's about it for the show. We've gone overtime. I just want to mention that there are some good news. The FDA approved 5 rapid test kits for COVID-19. The DOH experts are already studying the use of a flu drug for COVID-19. DOH is purchasing or has ordered 1 million PPEs. The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines is donating 1 billion pesos, 500 million for health workers and 500 million to the executive department. Marikina, the city of Marikina has determined a new site for their rapid testing laboratory for COVID-19. Pasig, the city of Pasig has approved 4,000 peso support fund for each transport worker in their area. Geely Automotive, the makers of the Geely cars, Geely Cars has donated 20,000 face masks to the DOH, and San Miguel Corporation has donated 500 million pesos for the purchase of personal protection equipment for our health workers. That's all for today. May I just encourage all of you, those who are feeling down, who are feeling afraid, please read Psalm 91 from the Bible. And when you read it, you'll understand why I'm encouraging all of you, because it is a psalm that basically reassures us of God's protection, God's promises. I'm Cito Beltran, and that was Agenda on today, Tuesday, March the 31st. Please stay strong, stay healthy. We will heal as one.